We'll start with lesson number 2, the living world. Characteristics of living things. In this lesson, we would study about the different characteristics of different living things. There are many kinds of plants and animals around us. Like we all observe that there are different kinds of plants and animals we see around us. Some of them they have some similarities, or it means that some of them have some things common in them, while some have no common things. They are totally different from each another, yet with the help of certain features we can tell that they are all living things, even though they have some similarities, or if they even don't have the similarities, then too by their features or by their different activities we can say that they all are the living things. These features are not seen in the non-living things. Whatever features or whatever things we see or we notice in the living things, these things we cannot see in the non-living things. Such features are said to be the characteristics of living things. We'll also study some of the characteristics in this lesson. Okay, the first characteristic is the growth. A baby grows up to become an adult person, either a woman or a man. During the period of its growth, the baby gains in height, weight, and strength. In the same manner, all animals grow into adults in a certain period. Generally, human requires 18 to 21 years of its growth. Now, what has been said in this paragraph that as we all know that human beings require a particular period of time to grow. They require at least 18 to 21 years to grow themselves. Different plants and animals, they also have different lifespan. They have a different time period to grow. Now we'll see the next page. Page number 10. On this page, figure number 2.3, a sapling in a pot. Two figures are given to you, and what happens to this plant? Why is this given? We'll just see it now. That you can see in the first pot there is a plant and a rope or a thread is tied to it and it is fully stretched. Okay, and just in the second picture you can see that the thread has become loose and the plant, it has also grown. Why does this happen? Because in all the plants it is mainly the width and the height of the stem that grows. As they grow, some plants develop branches while others do not. What changes does happen in this? That some plants, all the plants, they grow with, some grow with their height or some grow with their weight. Okay, though all the living things grow, animals also grow for a certain periods, and plants on the other hand grow as long as they live. Plants in their entire life they keep on growing. The growth of the living things occur from within the body, while means that growth occurs in all parts of the body. So you can see that when the plant is small and we have tied the rope, it is very tight. We have tied it tight. But in the second picture you can see slowly the plant starts growing, and the thread that we had tied very tight, it keeps to loose. It keeps losing. Okay. See in figure in the just next figure 2.4, growth in the banyan tree and the coconut tree is given. See in the first picture they are so small. In the second they have grown a little bit more, and in the third picture they are a finely grown up trees. You can see that, and even in that stage also these trees keep on growing. They keep on growing. The growth of the trees never stops. Food is necessary for growth. I'll start with that paragraph, that food is necessary for growth. Plants make their own food in sunlight. Plants produce food from the water, nutrients in the soil, and the carbon dioxide present in the air. Plants, they also need food, and plants prepare their own food with the help of the soil and water, with the help of water and the nutrients that are present in the soil and also with the help of carbon dioxide present in the air. This process takes place in the leaves of the plants. It is brought about the presence of sunlight with the help of chlorophyll in the leaves. See, when it is sunlight, means when it is daytime, only in that period the plants prepare food for themselves. And which part of the plant prepares food? The leaves. The leaves prepare the foods with the help of the chlorophyll, with the help of chlorophyll that is present in the leaves. And this process of preparing food, it is called as the photosynthesis. During this process, plants give out oxygen. Plants appear mainly green in color. This is all due to the chlorophyll that is present in them. So you can see in figure 2.5, the process of photosynthesis is given, that plants, see, they take in the sunlight and they give out oxygen, even the carbon dioxide that is present in them. And also you can see the picture is given below the soil or below the ground, it is given in blue. This is showing that how the roots of the plants, they take in water and the other nutrients present in the soil. Okay, now we'll see the next page. Page number 11. Animals, however, do not have chlorophyll. They do not produce their own food. This is a common thing. We all know that animals, they do not prepare their own food. They are dependent on others for their food. They also search their food. Animals such as goats, sheep, horses eat grass, while the wild animals such as tigers and lions, they meet their need for food by hunting other animals which live on plants. See, some example are given that goats, sheep and horses, etc., they eat grasses, while the other wild animals such as lions and tigers, what do they do? What do they eat? They eat other animals which eat plants. Next, we'll see the respiration. See, whenever you hold your hand in front of your nose, or when you keep your hand on your chest, what do you feel? Just for a second, just keep a hand in front of your nose. You don't have to close your nose, you just have to keep a finger in front of your nose. You can see that in a while, or just at an interval of seconds, you can see air coming out of your body, correct? And after this, keep your hand on your chest. Everyone, keep your hand on your chest, and you can see that as you are breathing, or as you are taking in and taking out the oxygen, you can see your chest goes in and out, correct? And next, even when you see a sleeping dog, when you see its belly means its stomach, see, you can see that also it also goes in and out every time. Why does this happen? We'll see it in the next paragraph. Living things need oxygen in order to live. This also we all know, that we all are alive today only because we get oxygen to breathe. Inhaling oxygen means taking in oxygen and exhaling the carbon dioxide, to throwing out the carbon dioxide formed in the body due to the use of oxygen, is called respiration. In the simple words, that taking in of the oxygen and pushing out the carbon dioxide, this process of taking in and throwing out, this is called as respiration. Animals such as fish, snake, mouse, etc., have specific organs for respiration. See, as we also have a specific organ for respiration. Which is it? It is our nose. The same thing, animals also like fish, snake and mouse, etc., they all have a specific organ for their respiration. On the other hand, plants respire by the means of microscopic pores on their stems and leaves. Plants, they also have the same respiration. They do the same respiration by what? By very microscopic pores. Microscopic pores means these are the pores that are very small. They only can be seen under a microscope, so it is been told as microscopic pores. Respiration is a characteristic in living thing. Again, there are two questions asked, that is all the food we eat used by our body, or what is the unused part of the food converted into? These both the questions will be answered you in the next paragraph. I'll start. Excretion. Waste substances are formed during the many processes that takes place in the bodies of animals. See, all of the different processes or all of the different activities that we do in the body, due to this, waste substances are formed inside our body. These are called excreta. The waste substances that have been formed in our bodies, it is called as the excreta, and the process of eliminating them from the body, that is called as excretion. Animals, they have specific organ for excretion. Even we have a specific organ for excretion. Plants, they also excrete. For examples, some plants, they shed leaves. Shed leaves means the leaves fall off the plants on their own in a specific season. Only in a specific season you can see all the leaves on a particular plant or on a tree, they fall up on their own. Waste substances that is stored into the leaves or in the plants, they also shed along with the leaves. See, in the figure 2.8 you can see a tree with shredding leaves. Now we'll see the next page. Page number 12. See, again there's an experiment given. This you can try at your home. If there is any plant or a tree just beside to your house, you can see that you can see in the picture just next to it how the girl is putting a carry bag on one of the leaf. This you can also do, that you have to take a plastic bag and you have to cover one leaf, any one particular leaf that is on the tree. You have to cover it for 6 to 7 days, and after 6 to 7 days you can observe yourself that droplets of water, means small drops of water, they have been collected on the inside of the bag. It means that plants excrete water in the form of vapor. What does this mean? That plants also excrete water but in the form of vapor. Excretion is a characteristic of living things. Okay, now next, responsiveness to stimuli and movement. Responsiveness means to react quickly, and responsiveness to stimuli means to react, or one who has made other one to react quickly or very fast. Living things act in various ways when responding to a stimulus. It means that each one of us react to a particular situation. If you suddenly enter a cowshed is a places where cows and buffaloes are staying. The cows and buffaloes, they immediately stand up and begin to move. One or two may even start moving. These all are movements. A creeper planted in the courtyard leans toward a support. A creeper plant, it is a plant which needs support for its growth. A potted plant placed in the window grows towards sunlight. It means that plants too show movement. Living things move on their own accord. Accord means they move on their own power or on their own status. The movement or the change taking place in a living thing at such a time is their response to a stimulus. See, uh, this is a common thing that we human beings also, we react to each and every situation, or we react to each and everything. So that movement of us, it is a response. An event that occurs in your surroundings is a stimulus. The ability of living things to respond to a stimulus is called their responsiveness to stimuli. I'll give you an example for it, that see, you might have noticed every day in the morning the people who take up the garbage, they come, or in some places directly the garbage van is arrived on the doorstep and you have to go out to throw the garbage. So in this situation, the garbage van, it is the stimulus. Okay, and you are responsiveness to stimulus, only because the van has come, that is the reason you are going out. Otherwise you would not go out to throw the garbage. The van has arrived, or the van has come at your doorstep, that is the reason you are going out and throwing the garbage. So this is the responsiveness to stimulus. Responsiveness to stimulus is also a characteristic of living. Page number 13. On this page we'll see about the reproduction. Living things produce other living things like themselves. Some animals give birth to their young ones, some lay eggs. Their young ones hatch out of the eggs. New plants are produced from the seeds, stems, or leaves of the plants. See what has been told in this paragraph, that living things, they all produce other living things which looks like them. Some animals, they directly give birth to their young ones. Some animals, they lay eggs and their babies come out from that eggs. Plants, they also are produced by their own seeds, by their own stems, and also by their leaves. The process by which a living thing generates a new living thing like itself, this is called as the reproduction or procreation. Reproduction is a characteristic of living thing. See, you can see in the picture that a bird and its egg, from these egg only the babies of the birds will come out. Bryophyllum, same thing happens with the plant. A horse, a mare and her foal. A mare is a female version of a horse. Also you can see the rose cutting. See, by just using the stem of the rose, you can grow a new rose plant. Next we'll see a definite lifespan. Definite means a limited period lifespan. At a certain stage of life, living things become capable of reproduction. When do living things produce their own other babies? At a suitable or at a certain stage of age. Only at that age they are able to reproduce their young ones. Later on in life, reproduction stage, their organs become weak and still later their life comes to an end. And as it goes on increasing, as the days pass by, what does happen? They are not able to reproduce, and also at the end the lifespan is over. In other words, living things also die. The lifespan of different animals and plants are different. For example, the lifespan of a dog is for about 12 to 18 years, while the ostrich, it lives for 50 years. How much it lives? It lives for 50 years, while a dog, it lives only for 18 to 12 years, only 12 to 18 years. Okay, now we'll see the next page. Page number 14. In the starting page, you can see a picture of a turtle is given. The lifespan of a giant turtle found at the Galapagos Island in South America is about 170 years. On the other hand, the lifespan of a mayfly, it ranges only for 1 hour to 24 hours. See how much big difference is between these two animals. The turtle, the giant turtle, it lives for nearly 170 years. But a mayfly, it lives only for 1 year, or hardly it can stay for the 24 hours. That means only for one day. Now, next question. Observe a honeycomb and a wall. What are they made of? So you can see a picture of a wall is given and also a picture of a honeycomb is given. We'll see from what are these made. You may have seen the small compartments of the honeycomb. See in the picture also you can see small compartments of honeycomb can be seen. These compartments are joined together to form a honeycomb. See you can see all these compartments are joined to each other and they all together make a honeycomb. A wall has bricks. To construct a wall, we firmly join the bricks together, and in the same manner, for constructing a wall, what do? We fix or we join the bricks together very firmly. Next is a cellular structure. Living things are made of small units called cells. All the actions and process in the bodies of the living things are brought about with the help of this microscopic cells. See, in today's day, whatever actions we do, it all takes place with the help of the cells that are present in our body. Some living things are made up of single cell. They are called as unicellular organisms. While the living things that are made of many cells, they are called as multicellular organisms. See, some living things they are made of only one cell, so they are called as unicellular organisms, while some of them have many cells, so they are called as multicellular organisms. The amoeba and some other organisms are unicellular. See, you can see the picture of amoeba and paramecium are given there. Okay, so they are unicellular organisms, while the man, cow, mouse, cockroach, elephants, the banyan tree, the onion plant, etc., these all are the multicellular organisms, means they have many cells present in themselves. All the characteristics of living things are seen in every cell of a living thing, whether it is unicellular or multicellular. See, even if we have many cells in a body, each and every cell plays its role. Cellular structure is the main characteristic of the living things. Even though the number of cells may vary, even if there are different cells or different amount of cells present in each body, cellular system, this is the main characteristic of our living things. Now we'll see the next page. Now we'll see page number 15. Useful living things. Plants are used as household as well as industrial purposes. Plants, they are used in a kitchen also and also in the industries. For examples, fenugreek, that is also called as methi, potato, okra, that is called as bhindi, apple, banana, etc. These all are used as food, while vasaka, that is also called as adulsa, hirada, behada, asparagus, these all are used as medicines. Animals are also useful to us. Dogs, cats, cows, buffaloes, these all are domestic animals, while fish, sheep, fowl, they are used as food, while animals like horses, oxen, camel, They all prove useful for various occupations. The earthworm, it is also very useful in agriculture. Next, we'll see about the harmful living things. Now we had seen the living things which are useful. Now we'll see about the harmful living things. Some animals and plants around us are harmful to man. For example, mosquitoes and flies spread diseases. Cockroaches, mice, rats, these all they all destroy our food. The food that we have stored, they destroy them. Lice and ticks, they also spread diseases. The bites of some poisonous lizards, spiders, snakes, and also scorpions can even cause death. If wild elephants enter human settlements, they can also cause a lot of destruction. Some plants too can be harmful. For example, the dodder, parthenium, and other weeds. See, in this paragraph, we had seen that even some insects, even some smaller to smaller insects and bigger animals, they can also be very harmful to us. They can also cause death to us. Pods of the nettle. Pods means it is a seed container. It is or it is also part of the particular plant which contains seed inside it. So pods of the nettle, colocasia leaves, they cause itching. Plants such as oleander, lantana, they have very strong odors. Strong odors means very strong smell which we cannot bear. The datura plant is also poisonous. Uncontrolled growth of fungi and algae in water, it pollutes our drinking water, and also they can spread diseases. Now we'll see the next page. Page number 16. We'll see about the live wild animals. Wild animals that hunt other animals for food are called as predators. In some wild animals, there are some animals which are dependent on other animals for their food. They are called as predators. For example, the tigers, lions, wolves, and also leopards. And sometimes due to deforestation means deforestation is a process in which human beings cut down the trees. So sometimes due to the deforestation, such animals, they enter the human settlements in search of food and may also kill the domestic animals or people. What is being said here that due to deforestation, these wild animals in the search of food, they come in the areas where human beings live, and after coming in that area, what do? They kill the domestic animals which we keep, or sometimes they even kill us. They kill the human beings also. Next, there's a message for you that you should always watch TV channels such as National Geographic, Discovery, and you should always try to get more and more information regarding the various plants and the various animals found in our surroundings. This is all only just for your general knowledge, which you should always have. And next is that you should also always remember that many plants and animals in nature satisfy our needs. There are many plants and animals present in our environment which help to satisfy our needs. The use of such plants and animals should be restricted only to our needs. We should not pluck leaves, flowers, and fruits unnecessarily. This is a very bad habit of us. We have a very bad habit that we pluck leaves or flowers or even fruit unnecessarily. Even if we do not use them, then to what do? We just pluck them. So we should stop this. Animals should never be hunted. They should not be teased just for fun. It is the responsibility and duty of all of us to protect the plants and animals. Now we have finished with the lesson. I'll just go through the important points that we have seen in this lesson. Growth, respiration, excretion, reproduction, responsiveness to stimuli, movement, a definite lifespan, and a cellular structure are the characteristic of living things. Next, animals grow for a certain period of their life. Plants, however, they grow as long as they live. Next, plants have specific organs for respiration. Animals have specific organs for respiration while plants respire through their microscopic pores on their leaves and stems. Next is the process of eliminating waste products from the body is called excretion. Next, all living things have the ability to reproduce. Next is that living things move because of their ability and to respond to the stimuli. Next is plants show spontaneous move. Spontaneous movements means the movements that you can easily notice or which you can easily see. So plants show spontaneous movements, but they cannot leave their place and go anywhere else as animals do. Next one is living things have a definite lifespan at the end of which they die. Next is many animals and plants are useful to us in our daily life. Some animals and plants can be also harmful to us. And the last one is that the smallest unit of a living thing, it is called as the cell. Okay, now we'll see the next page. You can see on page number 17 we have finished with the lesson, and all the question and answers or the match the following whatever is given on page number 17, it will all be provided to you in the end of this video. I insist you that you have to write these question and answers in the notebook, and whatever homework is provided to you, please complete it and keep your books updated. Okay, thank you.